Good morning, evening, or night. Wherever you are, welcome to WHAM Today. Take a deep breath, clear your mind, and let's drift through the whispers of today's world, one quiet thought at a time. As we wrap up Sunday, 18th May 2025, let's see what stories are unfolding around us. The United States is currently engaged in delicate international diplomacy. A proposed deal with Iran, supported by a written proposal from the U.S., seeks lasting peace. President Trump has emphasized the critical role of U.S. engagement in hostage situations. He has also floated the idea of a meeting with Russia's President Putin in Turkey to address the conflict in Ukraine. The U.S. relationship with China continues to be strained, and the country is preparing for a potentially prolonged conflict. A past 5-week tariff dispute between the U.S. and China saw both nations lowering tariffs, temporarily boosting markets. The U.S. has also finalized a significant arms deal with Saudi Arabia, totaling $185 billion. The U.S. National Intelligence Council disputes President Trump's claims about the Trend Aragua gangs activities in Venezuela. United States. The U.S. has de-escalated a major tariff war with China, while simultaneously tightening trade restrictions with some Latin American nations. Britain has forged a limited trade deal with the U.S., prompting scrutiny of the EU's trade strategy with the U.S. The U.S. Air Force conducted a large-scale 53-aircraft runway exercise, sending a clear signal to potential adversaries, including China. Concerns are mounting over the increasing influence of Chinese tech companies in the Gulf through infrastructure projects and deals, which poses security challenges for U.S. Gulf cooperation. China and the U.S. have eased tensions in a major tariff dispute. China's influence in Latin America is growing, with many governments seeing China as a more reliable partner amidst tightening U.S. trade restrictions. Chinese tech giants are expanding their foothold in the Gulf through infrastructure and deals, generating security concerns for U.S. Gulf partnerships. China is reportedly in discussions to sell J-10 fighter jets to Colombia, a significant step in its defense export strategy. Colombia is reportedly in talks with China to acquire J-10 fighter jets, a potential enhancement of its defense capabilities and a shift in its international alliances. United Kingdom. Britain swiftly concluded a limited trade agreement with the U.S., leading to questions about the EU's broader trade approach with the United States. European Union. The rapid completion of a limited trade deal between Britain and the U.S. has spurred debate about the EU's trade strategy towards the United States. Gulf states. Chinese technology firms are significantly increasing their presence in the Gulf region through infrastructure projects and deals, sparking security worries for U.S. Gulf cooperation. Saudi Arabia is set to enhance its military might by investing heavily in U.S. defense equipment. The country is considering acquiring the advanced F-35 Lightning II fighter jet. This potential deal builds on existing agreements, including a commitment to purchase $142 billion in U.S. defense equipment from the U.S. A broader arms package totals $185 billion. During a visit to Saudi Arabia, then President Trump secured a $600 billion investment pledge. He also signed an economic partnership agreement with the kingdom. F-15 fighter jets from the Saudi Air Force escorted President Trump's Air Force, one upon arrival, as a symbolic gesture. The possibility of the United States accepting a lavish Boeing 747 from Qatar to serve as Air Force One has stirred considerable debate. President Trump has publicly entertained the idea of accepting the $400 aircraft. Experts and critics, however, have strongly denounced the proposal, citing potential corruption and national security vulnerabilities. The conversion of the luxury jet for presidential duties would necessitate substantial and costly technological upgrades. These concerns have heightened scrutiny of the offer. Japan's economy faces headwinds due to weak consumer demand and falling exports, exacerbated by current trade dynamics. Turning to military matters, the Japan Ground Self-Defense Force will hold its first ever joint drill with the South Korean Marine Corps. Meanwhile, U.S. Marine Corps generals based in Japan met to discuss force modernization and preparedness for possible conflict scenarios involving China. Separately, Japan has recovered the remains of one of two crew members after their training aircraft crashed. Ukraine has reportedly lost another F-16 fighter jet, marking its third such loss since August. Turning to the United Kingdom, the UK is co-developing a long-range, deep-precision strike missile with Germany. Air Force One is scheduled to make a 1-hour stop at RAF Mildenhall in the UK during its journey to the Middle East. Separately, campaigners are pursuing legal action against the UK government, challenging the export of 35 fighter jet components to Israel. Germany is collaborating with the UK on the development of a long-range, deep-precision strike missile. President Trump has embarked on a Middle East tour. The tour will focus on discussions about Gaza, Iran, and prospective business agreements. Trump claimed that Iran has a U.S. nuclear proposal. He also urged Iran to respond quickly. Simultaneously, Iran is holding meetings with European powers. These meetings occur as Trump increases pressure concerning the nuclear proposal. France's symbolic gift of the Statue of Liberty remains separate from modern financial dealings, contrasting sharply with alleged offers such as Qatar's purported $400 million plane proposal to Donald Trump. Moreover, France maintains exclusive authority regarding the use of its nuclear weapons in Europe, ensuring such decisions adhere to President Macron's strategic vision. Shifting focus to the United States, the Trump administration is heavily investing in both technological and military advancements. These investments could total trillions of dollars, reflecting a commitment to long-term economic and security goals, even as geopolitical tensions continue in the Middle East. South Korea is investing in its defense sector through multiple avenues. An F-35 fighter jet, previously written off, will now serve as a training tool for maintenance personnel, enhancing their skills and reducing costs. Aiming to expand its global presence, South Korea is actively marketing its KF-21 fighter jet to Peru, seeking to modernize the Peruvian Air Force. In a move towards technological advancement, South Korea is also developing a drone-integrated naval fleet, led by a command ship based on the HMS Dreadnought, signaling a commitment to naval strength and innovation. Let's begin. Israel is reportedly worried about a possible suspension of US military assistance, while simultaneously threatening Houthi leaders after strikes on Yemeni ports. Israel has also initiated a military operation in Gaza, aiming to compel Hamas to release hostages. Singapore saw the successful completion of exercise Tiger Bomb 2025 between its army and the U.S. Army. Further strengthening regional ties, the Singaporean and Indonesian Air Forces commemorated 45 years of defense relations through Exercise Elang in Dopura. Thailand hosted the 12th Airman-to-Airman talks, with participation from the Washington Air Guard. Additionally, the 225th Air Defense Squadron dispatched command and control subject matter experts to Thailand. Germany is experiencing uncertainty in its auto industry as tariffs on automobiles enacted by the Trump administration adversely impact both European and US auto manufacturers. New Zealand is currently evaluating its enhanced strike capabilities. In a separate event, a Navy officer from Hawke's Bay led the New Zealand contingent at Gallipoli. Malaysia reported the death of a vapor who passed away shortly after issuing warnings about the dangers of vaping. Turkey is set to acquire over 100 US-made missiles, intending to strengthen its air defense capabilities. Pakistan is facing renewed pressure as India's Rajnath Singh visited a second military base and urged the IMF to reconsider providing aid to the nation. Panama's sovereignty is being discussed in relation to the Neutrality Treaty, which, according to some interpretations, does not provide justification for US military intervention in Panama. Canada is grappling with significant challenges pertaining to its F-35 fighter program. Yemen has reportedly seen a cessation of recent strikes in the region. Sudan's case against the UAE is now before the International Court of Justice, ICJ, which is scheduled to deliver a ruling. And that's a wrap for today's news, because even headlines need a nap. Stay curious, stay kind, and let the noise fade as you find your quiet. Take care, stay awesome, and I'll see you next time on WHAM Today.